is this now working? Dixxxy, can you hear us and can you respond? That's the two key questions.
Well, he's currently muted. So.
He is on mute, yes. Which means that one of those things might be wrong. We don't know. I'll bring him a quick message. I'll make sure permissions are right. You can connect. Right, okay, there we go. Right, let's try that again. Right, so I've clicked some buttons. Dixxxy, are you able to hear us now? I feel like it's the you know, the thing from whatchamacallit? Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere, you know? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
now I know what you're talking about,
yeah. Right. I'm in my cross. He says he can't talk apparently, so even though I've changed the rule, because why not? But I just chuck him in there. Right. Barnes, move across, speak in a second.
Yep.
Right, there we go. Hello, Dixxxy. How are we?
Hello, hello. I am very well. How are yourself?
I am very good. Now, first of all, welcome to F1XL Xtra. I'm going to say that tonight's conversation will have literally nothing to do with whatever happened on Sunday, or might a tiny bit, but very, very small amount. We are purely bringing you on to talk about you being an absolute lunatic.
I've been called worse.
Yeah, good. I suppose first of all, I suppose the question for me is what made you decide to race in VR?
It dates back to 2018. I went to America to visit a friend who had VR set up on his sim rig. I had a go on it, and I just loved the immersion. I was slightly slower than I was before, but I had a big fat smile on my face the whole time because the immersion of being in the car, looking left to right, and ever since then I've never looked back.
Yeah. So did you immediately just go out after that and like, I'm buying all the VR stuff and going crazy?
Got home and bought one straight away. Yeah.
Could I ask
a stupid amount of money, and yeah,
I was going to ask. Could I ask that question? How much did you spend on your
So originally, I was just on a PC with a monitor. My PC was worth maybe 1,000 or so. But then when I had to run VR and the headset and get everything together, I think I totaled my setup to be roughly about $6,500 now altogether.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
That's including the DD wheel, the force feedback pedals, the load cell, the VR, the big computer, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think Taz is absolutely right. You are a madman.
All part of the fun.
Absolutely.
But
I think
you know what? Fair play to you.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is if you're going to do it, you have to go full on, you know? Like, you couldn't race VR and then have, like, the plastic pedals, for example, you know?
What's the point in splashing the amount of money to go stamp on your pedal and it breaks on you, yeah.
Honestly, I keep explaining to people, like, you haven't driven F1 properly till you've driven some load cells, and they're just so much better.
Oh yeah, the feel is so much better. It's about how hard you push it, not how far it travels.
Exactly. Exactly that. Right. So I suppose obviously VR, you've got the setup. So is it a case of, are you now sitting the same sort of way where you've just got the wheel and the VR headset like, you know what I mean, in front of my computer screen basically still?
No, so my setup is I have the monitor and a table, because I do a lot of other gaming as well. I do a lot of FIFA, Call of Duty, Arc Raiders, etc., etc.
Please tell me you do FIFA.
I've been playing FIFA since I was about 10 years old, but no, I'm not playing VR FIFA, but I got the setup of the monitor, the table, controller, everything like that. And then I've got a completely separate rig for my VR and my wheel and whatnot.
Yeah, that's mad. I suppose my next question, tracks obviously a lot of the tracks are sort of quite open in that, but sort of tracks like the weekend, for example, do they offer a different kind of challenge to, for example, a track like say Silverstone? And then I know we've talked before about Spa, but yeah, we should mention that one as well because I've seen the view of you going up Origin Radion.
The biggest thing for me with VR, the biggest challenge I face, especially with the F1 game, is because you're sat so low down in the car, it makes it incredibly hard to see some of the apexes. And I probably racked up the most 3-second penalties in all of F1XL in just a year last season, and I'm probably close to beating that record this year as well.
Doubt it.
And that's
Doubt it.
it's simply because it's so hard to see the apex. So hard.
I would argue that one, mate. I would very much.
And obviously these cars are so fast, and you know, I don't use any assists, I don't use any driving lines, traction, ABS, or anything. So you have to pick a turning point, and doing that over 45 minutes consistently does end up racking up a few penalties.
Uh-huh. And do you find that go on, Bars, ask a question.
I wasn't going to ask a question. I was going to say, I can guarantee you're definitely not the most penalised person on track in terms of track limits.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, there was at least one driver at the weekend who had 9 seconds in our lobby. So, yeah,
we had one at 12 seconds, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not nearly as bad as you think you are. Because you were like, oh, I got a 3-second penalty and I dropped down. I was like, really?
Yeah, but in Div 1, it's so close. It's
Yeah.
so close. So a 3-sec penalty, you know, especially when, you know, I'm in a division where it's to get P6, to where, like, if I get a top 5 or top 6 or whatever, it's because I haven't made a single mistake all race. You make one mistake, you drop to P8, P9, P10. It's a really difficult division this season.
Yeah, obviously results have been showing exactly that, with just how that top group have just sort of really run away again with it. The other question I was going to ask you is, obviously you mentioned about the sort of doing the VR over sort of a 50% race. You were in the ASR last season, so how was doing the 100% version instead of the 50% version?
I'm very much used to doing long stints in VR because I'm on a iRacing team with a few of my buddies. We do a lot of endurance racing. We do like 12 hours of Sebring, then the 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Daytona, etc., etc. So I'm used to doing 3-4 hour stints at a time sometimes. So the stint length's not the issue. The issue with the Formula 100% is, like I said before, the speed of the cars. The concentration has to be a lot higher for this game, and that can offer up more mistakes, and it's staying focused for that long is more the challenge than anything else.
Mm-hmm. So we shouldn't put you on 100% at Monaco for the ASR this season then, no?
Is it in Monaco this season?
No. We haven't confirmed that at the moment.
Anyway, so I'm not bothered. Go ahead.
to be fair, Dixxy, I have asked several times when it comes to ASR voting in the admins. I have asked several times, can we vote for Monaco? And I've been told, shot down straight away, going, absolutely fucking not.
Well, we did a sprint last season. I thought, that's brave. Bloody hell.
Well, that was genuinely how the draw was made. There was independent adjudicators watching over the draw. That was not rigged in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Monaco's sprint was chaos.
But what I will say, Dixxy, is having obviously you on the Alpine team last year, and obviously doing the VR and the whole shebang like that. You were in the title fight right the way throughout the season with your teammate. So you were obviously doing something right.
Yeah, Div 2 last season was really fun, and that's not just because I was challenging up front. It's because there was a lot of names up front. Like it is this season with Div 1, you've got Harrison Krabs, Quick Did, Sportman, all guys who can win races. And it's fun to see different people winning races. Well, not this season because Krabs has taken over the bloody world. But it's last season, it was good fun watching everyone really battling. And with what was his name? Is it Ben Dyer? I think his name was.
Yeah,
Ben Dyer,
He was kind of the guy to beat, and being able to sort of stay in that top 3 with him and Newton was well, it was an achievement because I hadn't league raced since what F1 2016 before this league.
yeah.
I stopped doing league racing because I went more to the simulation side of things of iRacing, and it was actually Hubbard that said, "Hey, give it another try," and I'm glad I did. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it.
Good. I suppose my last question I'm going to ask just now regarding this is, obviously we discussed, we had a chat earlier on about the future of F1 in general. What impact do you think that's going to have on you in terms of the VR side? Because obviously we talk about the speed and everything, but with the sort of super clipping and things like that, do you think that's going to make things a bit easier for you? Do you think it's going to cause more problems? How do you think that's going to work out for you?
I would like to think it would make it probably easier. The biggest challenge with VR is obviously you have to know the buttons on your wheel without looking, so you got to do it with feel. So I'm hoping it's not going to be as much with like changing our ERS modes and etc. etc. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit more simpler to drive.
Yeah.
I actually completely forgot about that. You obviously you wear a headset over your eyes, so when you're trying to open the DRS,
thanks, Jeff.
I didn't think about that until now.
That's the kind of insight that we pay you for, man.
Right
I honestly didn't think about that until just now.
Like, Will Buxton is in danger of losing his job.
I'm used to seeing my own wheel, therefore I can push my own buttons. I just completely forgot that you wear a fucking headset.
Oh my god!
So I've got ERS. I've got an ERS, a DRS, and I've got to use a look back button. I don't like using the look back button in VR because I like the immersion of looking in the mirrors. But the mirrors on this is absolutely god awful. It's like playing Mario back in the Nintendo 64. Like you can't see a thing. So I've had to assign a look back button, which kind of goes against my immersion side of things, but it's either that or crash into everyone, so it's kind of
preach
a must.
That's what I'll say to you on that one is preach, because like but
yeah,
I hate having
the most easiest buttons is the best thing for changing the ERS. I've got a button that changes ERS to none and to medium, and I've got a button for an overtake and a button for DRS, and that's literally I'll keep it as simple as I can.
Yeah, I don't like people have the big mirror at the top, and I'm just like, how do you use that horrible thing at the top? And like I tried to use the mirrors on the side, but see, if they were bigger, I wouldn't have a look back button. That's the only problem. Or if they were actually worked properly, I wouldn't use the look back button. But they're so awful, you just can't.
If you could even see somebody coming, like, because obviously when someone's got a DRS behind you, they've got a huge speed advantage, and they're not in your mirror, not in your mirror. Next thing you know, boom, in your mirror. And I actually did the first couple of races on my first division, my first Division 2 race, without a look back button, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And also for qualifying, not being able to have a track map and all this stuff on my screen, I need to be able to know if someone's behind me on a push lap or whatever. So having that look back button is essential in qualifying, because the last thing I'm trying to do is get in somebody's way, not just for the penalty side of things, just for the driver's clean side of things,
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if you had the race engineer option, somebody actually there telling you, or even like is it NASCAR or whatever, they have like the person that talks and be like, even if you had like a spotter on the game, and I know people won't really care or want that, but people like yourself who use VR, that'd be perfect. So at least you're like,
godsend.
Exactly.
Absolute godsend.
Exactly. Barnes, you got any other questions for Dixxxy?
Yeah, two questions. One, obviously the season's almost over halfway through the season now, and you are currently, where are you in the championship? Sorry,
you got to keep scrolling down.
You are currently in 10th place in the championship. What's your aspirations for the remaining races, and where would you like to finish in the championship?
Top 10 the championship would be great. I haven't really got an ambition for it. There's a few guys who, I'm not afraid to name names because I think these guys think the same thing, who I can keep up with, which is people like Stone Shuffle. Who else have I got? There's Twangy Garlic. There's a couple of guys who've had some really, really good races with this season, and they're the ones I'm always looking out for. You know, I don't look at Harrison, Krabs, Quick Did, Sport Mad, all these guys. I just think, yeah, you know what, go do your thing. I'm not as fast as you, but as long as I'm there or thereabouts with the guys who I know are all sort of on my pace level, then that's when I'm happiest.
Okay. And last question from me, Australia. What's your thoughts on the track, and who are you predicting to win this weekend?
You know, Australia's a fun one. I love Australia because it's not in any other racing games or simulations that I play. F1 is the only one that actually runs it that I play, and it's a nice opportunity to actually have a go at it when you get a chance. And it's not one of my best tracks, but it's a fun one to drive. And in VR, you get the quick chicane before the back straight, which is awesome in VR. In terms of who's going to win, I mean, you can't pick anyone else but Krabs, can you? I mean, I'd love to throw a name in the hat and be like, oh, you know, this guy. But I mean, I'll say my teammate Steph. He is really fast and he's, you know, super quick. But I don't know where this guy's Krabs has come from, but whoever he is, he's bloody quick.
Fair enough.
Was he in the division last season?
No.
Krabs?
No, first season this season. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's made a name for himself, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to ask one random thing as well. Well, actually, I'll ask two now. Wouldn't you rather just do Bathurst on Sunday instead? In F1 cars? Imagine the chaos going up the hill and coming back down the hill again.
Do you know what? I actually I went to Australia in real life last year to go see my sister. She lives out there, and I actually ended up driving around Bathurst.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Is it as deep as it looks on TV?
It's an open road. It's actually an open road. When it's not being used, you can just go on it and drive around in your family car.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it is absolutely insane. Like, have you driven it before?
I've driven it on games. Yeah, I could draw you the track map pretty accurately. Yeah.
So yeah, there's the sections that you think are steep. No, they are steep, like insanely steep. Coming back down the hill before you get onto the back straight.
Yep.
Wow, the car dips and it bottoms out. And you're in a family car, man, and this thing's bottoming out, and you couldn't imagine doing it at 100, 110 miles an hour.
And then it's like there was like the amount of cars that have had like blind accidents there because it's like, you know, they've hit the corner on the exit and it's like you're coming in there doing, as you see, 110 miles an hour, trying to stop that car and that angle as well. It's insane. But yeah.
Another thing that was this quite steep. I've done a walk round of the Monaco Grand Prix track and coming out the tunnel down to the plane. That is steep in itself.
Oh, is it really? The downhill where everyone tends to lose their braking and go sideways all the time. Yeah. Can you see that bump, Barnes? You know the bump that they all talk about when they brake on the bump and it makes the car go sideways? Can you actually like see it?
You can't see it, but you can certainly feel it.
Is it obvious? Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're going through there in a car or a bus, it's quite obvious. So yeah, but you can't actually see it.
Oh, okay.
It's madness that.
Anyway.
Yeah, the other thing I was just going to say to you is endurance racing. Obviously on iRacing, I know for a fact that Jake is Hake is sitting there with a massive erection right now because we're talking about iRacing. But you done a lot of the racing on it then, yeah?
Yeah, so I've been doing iRacing for about 7 years now, and yeah, we did special events every single time. We previously did the 12 hours of Sebring, which we won in our class in the GT3.
Oh, very nice.
That was only 2 of us running triple stint, so 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours all the way through. And that was an entertaining one because we didn't start the race till about 5 o'clock in the evening, and then the bloody clocks jumped forward that night. So I didn't go to bed till 6:30 in the morning.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, been doing iRacing a long time. I've got quite a few wins under my belt. Most impressive is the wrong word to use. Most proud one is 24 hours of Nürburgring win in a Porsche Cup car. That was good fun.
Nice. I'm gonna ask the killer question. What's your iRacing rating?
iRating in sports cars, it's 2900. In single seaters, it's 3200.
Impressive, very impressive. I like to be nosy about that kind of stuff anyway. But
I
no,
tend to hit the top splits, but I'm always like in the back of the field.
yeah. The thing is, like one of my mates is a sweatbox, and to be honest with you, I mean, no disrespect to yourself in this one, but he's probably quicker than you because he is the sweatiest person I've ever met when it comes to racing.
It's a very, very humbling experience, iRacing. You think you're good on iRacing, you think you're good, and you know, I did a previous F1 league back in 2014 with Hubbardie all over your face and all those guys. I've known those guys for many, 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 many years, and
Yeah.
I won multiple titles on that, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm the shit, I'm this, I'm that, and then got onto iRacing, and you just imagine racing 22 Harrisons and Crabs.
Oh,
and
it's like, I've been sitting watching him. I need to actually find out how he's got on with it, but I've been watching him. He's been doing this series, right? And it's really funny as well. So I can't remember what it was he was in, but he's been doing this series online, and it's like a paid series. And the winner of said league gets an entry into like 2 races in real life next year in one of the series. I can't remember which series it is exactly, but it's basically the same car that he's racing now, he would race in real life. And it's like he's winning that series at the moment. But the problem is he doesn't have a driver's license. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
So I don't know how that would work.
Don't you? You hear that a lot in like the younger F1 guys. Like, I think Verstappen didn't have an F1 license until halfway through his first career in F1.
Yeah. So my mate's exactly the same. I need to find out how he got on. But I'll message him and I'll find out. But he basically was winning the championship, and I watched him, and he was absolutely destructive one race. Like, he basically started 19th and finished first by like 5 seconds. It's genuinely, wow. Yeah. Hey, Swain doesn't have a driver's license, which I find absolutely hilarious.
Insane.
Yeah, it is. It's in Swain. Thank you.
Sorry,
it was right there. Listen, I'm a dad. I have to make these jokes. It's my God-given right. Dixxxy, honestly, I think we've taken up quite a lot of your time tonight, but honestly, I feel like that was a nice conversation and actually really insightful as well, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the invite. It's nice to actually talk about it, because it's funny. I take these things for granted.
Yeah.
Because I've done it for so long, and I have friends come round and jump on it, and the smile on their faces when they're playing it, and I think, God, I actually miss that feeling of getting in there and like thinking, whoa, this is mental, because you know I'm so used to it now.
One quick question for me: how long did it take your eyes to adjust back to normal when you take your visor off?
Oh, instantly. But that's only because I've been doing it for so long. After the first year of owning it, yeah, it took a lot of getting used to. The weirdest part actually was getting out of VR and then, you know, going to drive to work and then being like, oh shit, there's G-force. Shit, what's that? What's this feeling? Yeah, that's the weird part.
It's like getting in a car being like, where's my headset? I need to put it on.
Yeah, the most motion sickness thing about VR is reversing, going backwards.
Yeah.
Still not used to it. It's the weirdest feeling.
So I remember this was years ago, but I remember, so Gareth Warder, who's known as in XL, me and him were at AGX years and years ago, and were playing a game, and I think it was like, was it Pac-Man? It was like oversized Pac-Man, and like you're being chased by like ghosts that were like 30 feet tall. And I remember you just standing on this pad running and spit. Yeah, honestly, it was just. Listen, this was like 2016, 17, so you know VR was still youngish, shall we say? Yeah, but it was basically like 30 feet ghosts on Pac-Man, and you're doing that, and you're stood on this like circle sort of pad running around with a headset on. I remember he came off of the VR the headset, and he had to be basically carried for the like off the thingy because he was unable to walk for a minute, and then about half an hour later he just started vomiting. I was like, yeah, you absolutely are not using a VR set ever again.
Early VR was at most 360p, at
Yeah.
absolute most.
Yep.
So motion sickness was awful, absolutely awful. Nowadays it's quite clear, so it doesn't feel too bad. But yeah, the early VR, my first headset, my goodness me, yeah, it was getting used to.
Yes. Last thing that I need to ask you, this is a nice simple one. What is your Twitch account so people can follow you and watch your progress?
It's just twitch.tv/Dixxxy, DIXXY. I try and stream as many races as I can. Unfortunately, my PC does sometimes shit the bed when I run VR, so I kind of have to be careful with what I've got running in the background. But I do try and stream as much as I can, and no, it'd be cool if if people ever want to have a look at what it looks like in VR. Yeah, just hit me up on a Sunday night, and if you actually want to watch it, I'll get it running, and you'll see firsthand what it's like to see people go flying past you and getting 3-second penalties.
No, I've just given you a Twitch shout out in the chat. Yeah. So anyone does want to follow him, it's right there for you.
Once it gets posted on the socials, I'll make sure that we get you tagged on there as well. So, but yeah, awesome. Perfect. Honestly, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go just now, but honestly, it's been great. I've genuinely enjoyed this conversation, and I will catch up with you in the McLaren chat anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Dixxxy. Right, very quickly, let's quickly go through the Div 1 results. Have you got them there?
I certainly do.
Right, just a quick rundown.
So, in pole position was Harrison, Gaming Man Steph in second, Krabs third, Twangy Garlic fourth, Jamie B in fifth, Yaltzin 1736 in sixth, Quicktin seventh, Light Shock in eighth, JJ in ninth, and Definitely 10. Whack Jittle 11, Newton Killer 12, Sketchy 13, Dixxxy 14, and Stone Shuffle at the back of the grid. And the result of the race itself, Krabs was the overall winner of the race. Light Shock in second, Quickton third, Gaming Man Steph in fourth, Newton Killer fifth, Jack Whittle sixth, Twangy Garlic in seven, Jamie B in eighth, Dixxxy ninth, good points for him, and Stone Shuffle in 10. JJ in 11th, Harrison last of the finishers with Yaltzin, Deathlink, and Sketchy failing to finish. The championship standings in division number 1. Krabs now has a 43-point lead over Quickton in second. Harrison 51 points back in third. Gaming Man Steph is in fourth. Sport Mad fifth. Light Shock sixth. Jamie B in seventh. Newton Killer eighth. Stone Shuffle ninth, and Dixxxy in top 10.
Perfect. Now, and lastly, the overall, very quickly, give us that rundown, and then we can end it.
Yep. Yes, the overall standings are Red Bull lead the way on 840. They've got a 161-point lead over Ferrari in second. Williams are in third on 533. Aston Martin fourth on 505. Mercedes, 440. McLaren 423, Haas 403, and the RBs are the last of the team-owned teams on 388, and Sauber 140 and Alpine 110.
Perfect.
The weekly total quickly, the best scoring team of the week when it decides to load. Was Red Bull with 97 points.
Not surprised.
No.
Right. I think we can call it there right now. So I think that very simply we say this, that obviously tonight has been a totally different show from the usual. Any feedback, positive or negative, will be much appreciated. Obviously, we did completely different for a change. We're not going to do this every week. We'll talk about Excel normally. Once the F1 gets back, we might do a bit more this, maybe a few other segments, like quiz or something, for example. Just just to mix things up again, because we do like keeping things interesting. But yeah, I think from Barnes myself, thank you to those who have stuck around for the full show. It's much appreciated. Obviously, we'll be on YouTube later. And Sunday, Australia, 9 o'clock. Make sure that you're ready to go and get some big points, is what I will say. Davey will be streaming the Div 1 race on Sunday, and fingers crossed it's something that we can put on the stream. But from Barnes, from myself, thank you so much to everybody who has joined, and we will speak to you guys next week. Bye for now.